Over the past 2 years, I've developed what I think is the ultimate chocolate chip cookie recipe. It started as a recipe from Bon Appetit. It was their brown butter dark chocolate toffee cookie. But as I gave them to friends and family, they slowly morphed into this iteration because I found it kind of difficult to find the ingredients that Bon Appetit specified in their recipe. The first step is browning the butter for these. I'm going to take 2 sticks of butter,
This isn't a health food.
and cut them into tablespoons marked on the packaging in a cold pan. Once cut up all the way, I'll turn the heat to medium and monitor the butter as it melts, occasionally stirring. Once all the butter is melted, I'll start stirring the butter in a figure-8 motion, stirring 3/4 of the way around the pan and then reversing the direction for another 3/4. This creates almost a crashing wave effect in the pan and is effective at moving the milk solids around enough to prevent burning. If you're using grocery store brand butter like I am, watch out for this crazy amount of foaming at the top. This is a byproduct of the higher water content usually used to cut the butter. Luckily, if we try and smell for the nutty, buttery scent that brown butter is known for, it's pretty easy to tell when we're getting close. If this happens, you can also try and look for the color streaks of the butter by stirring more aggressively. You're going to be looking for something just shy of a Hershey's chocolate color, mainly because as the butter rests in the bowl, it will continue browning from the heat. While it's also in the bowl, I'm going to go ahead and also mix in 1 1/3 cups of sugar, as well as 2 tablespoons of molasses.
Clean off the lid of your fucking like molasses jar after you use it. I have not, and my molasses jar is now a cursed. This is stronger than any bank lock, any bank safe in existence. They should line bank safes with molasses for how fucking powerful dried molasses is. Oh, I have the strength of gods.
The sugar adds a bunch of chewiness to the mixture, and the molasses adds a warm, dark sweetness, while also amping up the richness of the mix. Finally, we'll also add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. It's just really nice to have in there. From there, we're going to let that sit for 15 minutes to cool. Keep an eye out for any cats that may want to get a taste. They'd probably like it, but it's probably not recommended for them. After the mix is cooled, 2 room temperature eggs are going to get added in. I crack in one at a time and mix just to ensure that no residual egg cooking occurs in case the mixture is still too warm. Don't accidentally crack in some eggshells like I did here. It's also not recommended. Next, 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I've tried these with bread and cake flour and I found that I really only enjoy the all-purpose ones. We'll also add 3/4 of a teaspoon of kosher salt, roughly a half teaspoon of iodized salt if you're using that, as well as a full teaspoon of baking soda. Mix it together and double check that it has the texture that feels sticky but is easy to push off your fingers. This is also just an excuse to have cookie dough on your hands to eat off. And now for the best part, the actual fillings of the cookies. For how rich this cookie dough is, I found that pecans are a fantastic complement. In this case, about a cup of pecan halves goes in. I'm going to split this dough into 2 halves and show you 2 variations of this recipe, as not everyone likes milk chocolate, not everyone likes dark chocolate, so it's good to have a reference for each. In the original Bon Appetit recipe, they called for dark chocolate disc wafers, which I could not find in any grocery store around me when I first tried making these. Eventually, I just settled on using above average chocolate bars, and this 72% Ghirardelli dark chocolate ended up being my most reliable one. I found that the best way to break it up and replicate the disc sort of shape that the Bon Appetit recipe called for is to just beat the ever-living shit out of the chocolate bar. Really just take out your frustrations on it. I just like to empty it out in the bowl from there. If you were making a whole batch, you use 2 100-gram bars, but since I'm showing you just the half variation here, I just put 1 bar in this. If you're craving something on the milk chocolate side, I found that the best results I've gotten are with these Hershey's Symphony Almond and Toffee Milk Chocolate Bars. This particular chocolate bar ends up bringing the toffee notes that were listed in the original recipe, while also being sweeter and a bit more complex than just having straight milk chocolate. I have roughly a 200-gram bar here, so no floor throwing for you. I'm going to be breaking 100 grams of this into the other half of the dough here. After mixing both of these up, I like to set them aside for another 15 minutes just to make sure that they firmed up really well. As the liquid brown butter can still be a bit loose around this stage, it's an excellent time to just preheat your oven to 375. Now that the dough is firmed up, I'll take some parchment paper to a baking sheet. For these cookies, I like to make approximately ice cream scoop sized balls and place them with plenty of space to ensure a natural spread. Once I'm sure I haven't overloaded the tray, I'll place these in the oven for around 9 to 11 minutes. The cook time will depend as everyone's oven is different, so this time estimate can only do so much. You're going to want to look out for an almost golden brownish crisp on the edge of the cookie, but the inner space to still look a bit undercooked. While they're still warm, this isn't required, but if you have it, sprinkle each cookie with a small pinch of flaky sea salt. Doing it now will make sure that it sticks to the cookie a bit better and adds some nice texture and balance to the chocolate flavor. And there you go, my favorite cookie. Please try it for yourself. And try your best not to eat the whole batch the night you made them like I almost did.